All right, everyone. Welcome today to the Angry Asian Uncle podcast. I am your host, Reynold, and our co-host.
Hey, it's Vic. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year's to everyone. We have a special guest with us today. Today we have Mitch. So, Mitch, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. My name is Mitch. I am coming to you from Montana. So we are an awesome state that I love to be a part of. But what I do for my day to day life is I run a sports podcast, Wide Left Sports, that gets to amplify the voices of our Montana athletes in the region. And then I also am disabled. I have spina bifida. And so with that, I have started a nonprofit called Access Billings that raises awareness on ADA compliance, which is not 100% held up here in Montana. And so we want to raise awareness on that as well as help businesses that maybe are not ADA compliant get to be ADA compliant so that people like myself or anybody with a disability can walk into any business in Billings and be able to use it and spend their hard-earned money at these establishments.
That's
Great, great.
wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah, I love the ADA, but some people don't understand it. Did you want to go over what ADA is?
Yeah, so it was the Americans with Disabilities Act. It was put into law in the 90s. I think it was 91. And so basically, what that means is all businesses that are public facing need to be usable by the disabled community, whether that be physically disabled, the deaf and blind community, or all the other whole hosts of disabilities. And so that is something that has been kind of a fight here in Billings. Not with a lot of businesses, but there are just some businesses that are a little bit behind. Um, and so that's kind of where Access Billings came in, and we're
Okay.
trying to combat that. Um, a lot of it, for me, at least in my expertise here in Billings, and I believe probably Montana, is people just don't know the ADA law, and so or know that it needs to be enforced. And so once they find out that it needs to be enforced, they are more than happy to oblige. It's just that lack of knowledge that it's there and needs to be enforced.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people don't understand that ADA is a law or something because
Yeah.
I run into it myself, but I usually, but it's really hard for me because it's really for me personally because I'm blind. It's more accessibility. They in, accessibility for us, is different from accessibility with a wheelchair, and I'm not talking about building
Right.
as well. But, uh, it also stretches out to actually uh, all services is what I understand. But you could correct me if I'm wrong, because it also refers to saying getting services over the phone or even websites as well. For me, my hardest struggle has been like websites accessibility because not all websites are built the same. They're not all was it uh I mean, not all of the websites I'm able to use with my screen readers, or sometimes when I'm doing things over the phone, they like to direct me to say, "Oh, just do it online," or "Hey, get a friend to do it,"
Yep.
or something because they can't help me over the phone or something because of their
Yeah.
So
yeah,
frustrating.
yeah. So yeah, I hate when they say I hate it when they say, "Oh, just get someone else to do it for me." Like, what's don't that's not the point when I call you as a company, especially if they're a large company. I can understand if it's like a small business, like a small company, but when we're calling
Right.
like large companies, like large banks, especially financial companies like Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, you're so large, like you can like allocate a little money to for accessibility department or something, right? It's like I feel
Yeah, so
that's not
frustrating.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes,
Yeah, it is frustrating. You're exactly right, Reynold. It does extend to websites and things like that, especially for the deaf and blind community. With our website, we were really conscious on that. And then, another thing that gets completely ignored in Billings, which is really sad, is the use of Braille. Um,
oh,
there's pretty much nowhere except for I think McDonald's that even
mhm.
uses Braille in my hometown. And so that is something um obviously implementing Braille is a little bit more expensive. And so
Yeah.
that is something that's on our radar. But
Hmm.
just because it is a little bit more of a costly thing because so many businesses need it in Billings,
Right.
um, we will probably do that later on down the line.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that could be a costly thing. But I think with technology now, a lot of things you can cut costs with using technology, even if it's like something voice, like a readback thing or something like that. Um, I
Exactly.
feel,
And we'll
yeah,
have to look into that. For a lot of menus and things like that, I would think we'd be able to do like a read back option or something like that. That
right,
would
yeah.
be a little bit more of a cost effective thing.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Especially with the kiosk things. I don't know how, I haven't used kiosks as well. I know McDonald's uses like kiosks now, and other restaurants are sort of joining. Even Costco. I was at Costco yesterday. Even their food court, they have those kiosks, but none of those. I think most of them don't have like was a text to speech sort of option. So like a what we call like a screen reader sort of option. Like my iPhone has a text to speech sort of option. Android
Right.
phones have it. So but that's just like a software, right? So like just a program that I can install to every thing. So if you just create one, you can technically install it to all kiosks. Or if those kiosk creators develop that, they can just easily install it to all kiosks, basically. So yeah, that's
100%.
yeah,
And I know like the Coke Freestyle machines, they have a button for like me
right,
so that I don't have to reach up and press the buttons on which soda I want.
right,
Well, they could easily add another one that says, okay, this is text to speech.
right.
Let's, make it so that you can use it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know why they haven't.
right. And it's really just one program. You can install to like your thousands of machines, right? Yeah. So I don't know,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
wonder what's the motivation for these companies to make accessibility easier for people with disabilities. Is it you know enough people has have to complain or petition, or is it just a lack of will, or it just needs more awareness, or is it a matter of funding, or is it a matter of government stepping in and implementing more laws? What do you guys think? Like what would motivate a company, especially a large one, to make things more accessible?
so here in Billings, I had a major chain restaurant that did not have any accessible seating in their bar. And I caused some issue with them for over a year and did not get anywhere. Well, then finally, I got fed up and staged a walkout to where I went in, asked to be seated in the bar. When they told me I couldn't, my group and I walked out and went to another accessible restaurant in town
Mm.
and then blasted it on social media that we spent $300 at the other said establishment that would have been spent at the other first one had they been handicap accessible. And that worked.
Yeah, I think we need
yeah.
we need more of that.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think people think, well, at first, I think people think disabled people, okay, if I could say that, don't have money to spend. Just like how, it took you to show that, hey, we have some spending power and you're not letting us spend at your establishment. And I think that's the same across the board with the disabled people, both with deaf and blind, um, wheelchair, whatever it is. They don't think we have spending power, so we don't have a say. The spending power comes from
Yep.
people that are normal, right? Quote unquote normal, right? In abilities. So that's what these machines or these restaurants or whatever are made for, are the people with spending power. But but we as people, we as disabled people, we have a lot of us, have money to spend. Just like reading somewhere where the travel industry, right? A lot of people try to do accessibility, excessive travel for like even for not just blind, but like for wheelchair people and stuff like that. So, sort of towards that, sort of geared towards that and stuff like that. And you find out that yeah, even us, we have. It's almost I don't know if it's correct. I have to check the sources, but it's like at least a $1 billion industry when it comes to disabled travel itself. So it's
Oh, I don't doubt
uh,
it.
yeah. So for people for these big businesses that think we're just like less than a 1%, it's a very small percentage that they don't need to uh, sort of make accommodations for us. I feel it's a big loss in revenue because I see it all the time too as well. I mean, not just like with you with the bar. Like for me, like I love investing, and then when I try to do things with financial institutes or use just brokerage, like even uh what was it? What's like Charles Schwab or something like the other ones that I used
Mhm.
before that they got bought out by Charles Schwab, but they all don't work for me. Like all of these, it's really hard, difficult to navigate. It's really hard. The only thing I've been able to use like is Robinhood. It's not the best platform, but it's the only one that's accessible to me. To be honest, to my liking. To be honest, every other
Right.
one's like something just doesn't work. Like I can't see the options or something. I can't see the stock ticker prices or something. Or I have it's really difficult for me to submit orders and stuff like that. But hey, but that just says okay, like we're not worth the trouble because well we don't have money to invest, but we a lot of us do, whether it's a few $100s, few $1,000s, everything adds up, right? If you have that many people throughout the country putting in that a few $1,000s, that's still a lot of money for these financial institutions. So I mean that's just one example, right? There's so many other examples, from little things like just like restaurants and bars. It's I think something,
Right.
so that's why I really like what you're doing and raising awareness for this, yeah,
Yeah,
for the
money
disabled, yeah,
talks. I
yeah,
think money
yeah,
talks.
right, yeah,
So, wherever the money flows, I think action happens, right? I think, if if businesses feel that their bottom line will be affected, if they're aware of that, I think they start making those changes. And it's not like handicapped people or special needs people need all that much. It's like we just appreciate a little bit more help. It's not like we're
yes,
asking you to
Yeah.
like totally revamp your business for us or like spend insane or absurd amounts of money to make things more accessible for us. No, we just appreciate a little bit of help. Just throw some help
Right.
our way and we're happy.
Right. I
yeah,
mean, it's like in those bars that I've talked about. Most of the time the ADA for seating is 5%. Well, in most bars, that's one or two tables. So you take out one or two of their higher top tables, which aren't just bad for people like me, they're bad for a lot of different groups of people. And you switch those out with a lower top table, same amount of seats. You're not losing any money. In fact, you're gaining money. And, another thing too is when I get irritated with the business, I have a large group of friends that then say, okay, well, we're not going there because you can't go there. And so
right,
not only are they losing out on my money, they're losing out on friends' money of mine with their families and their friends outside of me. And so they're actually losing out on a large chunk of money that they would have by just having one or two tables in their bar.
Yeah,
oh yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah,
easy
because
changes.
And even now, some people, like you said, even us, I mean, not us, but even normal people sometimes prefer the low tops. Like not everyone wants to sit on a high top table, right? Some
Oh
people are
yeah,
like,
for
oh,
sure.
just
Yeah.
right. It's like have to climb the high stool. Some people like the low
Right.
table because the you get chairs that have a backrest, right? So, right. So
Right.
it's like,
Or
right.
like in Billings, our community is 25% elderly.
Mhm.
Exactly. There you go.
The
Oh,
elderly community is more than likely not going to like the high tops either.
yeah, yeah.
Or
So
children. Like if I go into a family restaurant, I have kids, I appreciate tables and chairs that are a little bit lower. It's easier to feed my kids. It's easier to clean up after them.
mhm,
I don't want to sit in a bar all the time.
right. Yeah, that's true,
Right.
right? So yeah, I think these little things do help. But yeah. So what I think back to Vic's question, why are people so hesitant on
Yeah,
doing this
isn't
stuff?
that right? Isn't that don't you ponder that question, right? I mean, it doesn't take that much, but I wonder why so many businesses are reluctant.
So I think it's money. I
Mhm,
think putting in any ADA accommodations costs money.
mhm.
One, but two, so our ADA compliance office is in Greeley, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
that's like 8 hours away from us.
mhm,
You have to go through Wyoming, which is not a fun state to drive through half the year because you could have the main highway shut down due to snow.
Mhm.
Um, and there's just a lot of barriers. The there are flights from Denver, but I mean, do you really want to have to fly every time you have to come up to Billings? And so our ADA compliance kind of just gets put to the wayside and gets put on people like myself or like my organization to kind of pressure the local business owners more than what that office can do. Just because I'm sure I don't know this for a fact, but I'm sure there is ADA compliance issues down in Colorado that they are looking after more so than Montana.
Yeah, so Mitch, a lot of times I think changes will happen from the grassroots, right? I mean, you have to do things. Um, Honestly speaking, most of the things, most of the changes you want seen, I think it has to start from us taking some kind of action, right? It would be nice to petition offices and government institutions to, help out, but I think to see the kind of changes you want, really, you have to take the first step, I think, grassroots.
yeah. Mitch, does you or your organization, do you guys work with like a ADA lawyer? Do you have someone on your team, or is that?
So we don't have an ADA lawyer because, again, I think we have one in the whole state of Montana. Um,
Okay.
yeah, but we do have a lawyer on our board um,
Okay.
who kind of knows some ADA, because he has a disability himself.
I see. Okay.
And so he's not an ADA lawyer, but he has looked into ADA law due to, this organization.
I see.
But yeah, I think we have like one or two in the entire state.
Wow.
That's right. All right. That makes sense. But
Yeah, we're a state of a million people. I think just over a million people. So
right.
yeah,
Okay. This is okay. I was just
Hey,
wondering.
well,
Yeah.
Mitch, you fight with what you have, right?
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, sometimes it comes down to, like you said, it comes down to sort of the government too. Because if the government doesn't help out, even if you have like an organization like yours putting pressure, if there's no repercussion to them, they can still choose to look the other way. Now, I say this because I was talking to another acquaintance I have. Um, that person is going through was going through a training program. I think it was in Arkansas or something. I forgot. It was another blind organization that does training. They like train people for a career in assistive technology, like teaching to the visually impaired. as well, and they had a
Uh-huh.
certification program where they're teaching people to um, analyze if websites are accessible for the blind, for like for the screen readers and stuff like that. And then it was a whole big thing because they were gonna they're because of the ADA Act, and then something in regards to where they're gonna enforce like where companies would get fined if their websites and stuff online presence was not ADA compliant. And then something came down the pipeline saying like from the current government saying oh, they're not gonna do that anymore. So that whole training program department was scratched because basically what came down the pipeline was saying, oh, that's little potatoes. We're not gonna really care about that. If they're accessible, great. If they're not, it doesn't matter to us right now. We're gonna or anything that comes through the court system, whatever, in regards to that, we're not gonna do anything about that. So
Right.
basically that whole department was like, oh, that whole class, that whole program was just like, oh, they had to switch gears, because that wasn't going to be, what they're training these students for to do was not going to be applicable anymore. So it really comes. I feel sometimes it comes down to the government willing to back up the people and lay down the law or do some punishment. If they're not, then sort of we're just sort of having to rely on just sort of the community or just a social presence to get them to change. And sometimes that's not there's no for these organizations, there's no repercussions. Like, okay, so some groups of people are mad at us. So what, But when it comes down to like, oh, having to pay fines or fees, or when it comes to the government laying down the law or something, then they'll start changing. I don't know. What is your perspective?
Exactly. No, you're 100% right there. So in Billings here, we have a whole area of town where they have converted old homes
Mm-hmm.
from like the 1940s and 50s into businesses. And so you can only imagine they are not handicap accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And there are quite a few that do not even try to be. Um, there are multiple with steps up into them and no ramp in the back, no ramp anywhere to be seen. And so I don't understand how in our town of over 100,000 people, they've gotten away with that. And there's no repercussions being done at all. And I just don't understand it. So yeah, there does need to be some accountability within our government as well.
Right.
But
Yeah.
within our city government, excuse me. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then don't even
Definitely.
get me started on national government because that's a whole
Right.
other
Yeah.
bag right now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm not trying to get into that. But I was just saying, it helps when they back us up. But if they don't, it's sort of like, oh, okay, yeah, these people are angry at us. Oh well, but we still have these people that are coming to our store. So,
Yeah,
um,
no, Billings and Montana as a whole has a very pull yourself up by your bootstraps, do things by yourself mentality.
mm,
And I mean, it's good in some circumstances, but in other circumstances, like the ADA, where you do kind of need the government to at least be somewhat on your side,
yeah.
um, it's not the best.
Oh yeah, 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 exactly. Don't
I
get me
think
with.
awareness is very important. A lot of times I observe that changes happen in society when there's enough awareness that's disseminated, or you get people with positions of power who can make decisions. You get them on your side, and then they kind of push things along your way. I'll give you an example. It's not really related, but it's kind of a proof of what I'm talking about. Where I live in Taiwan, It's called the San Jose of of Taiwan because the science park where all the chips of the world are made, right? This is where big companies like TSMC is located, a lot of the tech companies.
Hmm.
So it's like the San Jose of Taiwan. But it wasn't always the San Jose of Taiwan. Back in the day, it was just like a kind of like a backwater little little town where nobody really cared much for, people just generally drove past it on their way to the south of Taiwan, like if they're going to Taichung or if they're going to Kaohsiung, like it's a place you pass by. But nowadays, of course, it's on the map. The Hsinchu is now one of the most expensive cities in Taiwan, simply because the science park just made everybody rich. And since it was a backwater kind of place back in the day, the place is actually very historic. It's got a lot of these beautiful little rivers, drainages, canals from all the way from back to the Japanese era when they were occupying Taiwan. So this
Hmm.
is like, wow, but by this point, almost like 100 years old now, right? So they're historic. Some of them
Yeah.
were from the Qing dynasty. So they've been around for a while. But, for the longest time, they were polluted and dirty, because nobody cared about this place, right? And it took members of the city, like the Rotary, the Lions Club, a lot of these people, business owners who wanted to see better public spaces, cleaner parks, cleaner water for their kids and grandchildren. So these organizations basically stepped in and petitioned local government to spend the resources to clean up all these rivers and beautify them and build parks around them. And fast forward to today, it's very beautiful, it's pretty, it's one of the most pleasant places to live in. So I think it's a combination of political will and funding because the city got rich, after the science park was built, right? And all the money started flowing in. So
Right.
they did have they did have the budget to do it for one thing, but it took citizens basically to step up and say, this is what we want done. We want to see this happen for us. And so now it's a pleasant place to live in. Yeah. So kind of like what we're talking about for accessibility, I think those two things combined might be the ticket to make things work.
Yes, we
Yes, and you're
appreciate that.
exactly right. I mean, our town's budget is, I think, pretty razor thin, and so there's not a whole lot in the budget to help with accessibility.
Right.
But I think if an organization like mine comes in and says, "Hey, we can help you out, give us ideas of where to help out," I think we can mutually work together and do some good for our town.
I see. So so you also you raise awareness and you also help business that actually want to say you have a business, say like the bar says, okay, yeah, we want to accommodate you, we want to have this, but we just can't afford to do it. Is that something like you would help with them, work with them on or something?
100%. So actually, we've already done that with one business.
Mhm.
We had a photography studio in town that had literally, it was maybe like a 2-inch lip to get into their actual studio.
Right.
But she's like, Mitch, I've had people in wheelchairs try to come in here and they can't.
Mhm.
And so we paid for that lip to be turned into a ramp. And so that's not an issue anymore for anybody that's trying to get into her studio and get photos taken by her.
Oh, okay.
And so, yes, that is 100% something we are looking to do, is to look to do the projects so that it's not on our city government. Um,
I see. Okay.
and yeah, we're looking to help, you know, do those things so that our town is handicap accessible.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that reminds Reynold. That reminds me of the light bulb principle. Have you guys heard about that?
No.
The 2-inch lip turning into a little ramp. It might seem like it's just a little project, but uh, the reason I bring up the light bulb principle was they made a study that in urban centers, especially in places that are perceived to be more crime ridden, like Detroit, for example, and other places, um, they did an experiment where all they had to do was fix up all the light bulbs in the area and fix up all the broken windows around the area, and crime rate dropped significantly. So the light bulb principle is like these small changes sends out the signal that people care. that people actually look at what's going on and there's someone watching over the city or watching over the place. So they realized that you didn't have to spend tons of money, but you spend the money in places that are sending out signals to would-be criminals that
Yeah.
this is a place where people care about what goes on. And that dropped crime
Yeah.
rate significantly. So that kind of reminded me of what you just said about changing a lip into a ramp. It might seem insignificant, but that little project would send out a strong signal to the rest of the businesses around the area or the community. And from there, it cascades into other changes. So great job. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And then we're working on another business here soon that again just has like a little 2 to 3 inch lip to get into the building. But then also inside they have like a 4 to 5 inch lip to get into one of the offices. And then they have a ramp to get up to that area where the offices are, but there's no railing.
Mm,
Okay.
So we're
yeah.
working on little things like that right now that are a little bit more low hanging fruit and
Yeah.
easily done. Um, just so that we can get some projects under our belt because we are fairly brand new.
Mm.
I see. Are you guys like a self-funded, or do you guys have fundraisers or donations? And
Oh
then,
no, we are not self-funded. We could not do that. So no, we definitely do fundraisers. And then we ask for funding from donors. So what
uh,
we've done is we do fundraisers around town at like different restaurants and things like that that are handicap accessible, and then they give us like 20% of the tickets for either that day or that night or whatever their time frame is.
I see. Okay.
And then we've done we go to different festivals that are in our town and ask for donations there. And then we've had a couple of businesses that have partnered with us and given us larger donations as well. Um,
Great.
and so that's really helped us out, kind of get our feet wet and get some of these projects, started so that we feel like we can do them. And um, then, maybe this coming year we'll look into some grants, but we're
I
kind of
see.
trying to stay away from that as long as we can, just because we know that that's a long, uh, tedious product process that we don't really want to touch right now.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, getting grants is not the easiest thing in the world.
So yeah,
What about
yep.
since like some of these stuff like building a ramp and railings have to do like construction? Do you have like maybe reach out? Do you have like maybe contractors or some people in construction that's part of the organization, or that's willing to help the organization, where they donate their time, where you guys just pay for the materials and stuff like that? Is that also an option?
We do. We lucked out. We have a really good contractor. He calls himself a handyman, but he's a contractor. Phil
Mhm.
Bauer, who donated his I think it was time,
Mhm.
and he he cut us a really good deal on that first project. And after that first project, he said, Mitch, any project you guys do that is within my ability, because I don't think he's able to do everything that a full contractor can do.
Right.
He is more than happy to do it for us, and just be a part of it. And then also for like automatic doors, because that's a thing that is not very prevalent here in Billings.
Oh. Mm.
We do have a company that I actually know the owner's daughter,
Mhm.
and she reached out to me and said, "Hey, Mitch, anything that we can do to help you guys with future projects, please let us know, and we'll help you out with that." So there are some things here in Billings that are willing to help us, and we are extremely grateful to them, because we would not be able to do it without them. So
Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
Community support is very good.
Mitch, you know what you need is you need to import more Asian aunties and grandmas to your place because here in Taiwan, automatic doors, for example, are always installed on their behalf. In Asian cultures, in Asian cultures, grandmas and aunties, older aunties, always have a lot of power once they start complaining like, oh, it's so hard for me to go inside 7-Eleven, like, oh, there's no ramp for me to push my grandchildren's baby trolley up up to the store. Once they start talking, yeah, local government uh, people start listening because they're usually very scary, and they control a lot of a lot of families' wealth and resources. Like they have a lot of say in things. So, like my suggestion is, you have to import more Asian grannies into your city to make those changes happen.
Oh, that is awesome. That is a great suggestion and actually funny story on that. So we I live fairly close to Yellowstone National Park. It's just a few hours away. And so every summer there are a lot of Asian tour groups that come
Yeah,
through.
yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yes, yes, yes.
So all I've got to do is just say, "Hey, stay in Montana, help me out."
There you go.
It's just, you get all the beer you want. Mitch will take care of it.
Get some Montana beer, yes. Man.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but I find
Uh,
what's most effective is usually if you bunch together the elderly and children and disabled people together. That usually gets people to listen. Because, like, if it's just one group in society, people are slow, they're dragging their feet, like, I don't know, like, I gotta, like, get my butt going and do this project for the disabled community. But then if you bunch it together with like, oh, well, but ramps are good for children too, like for example, I'm a parent, and
Yep.
wherever I go, I push my little girl in her little pram, right? And then I appreciate it when there are ramps. It's easier for me to get up and down instead of like having to carry the whole thing up, especially if there's like, I don't know, 10 flights of stairs or something, right? And then elderly
Right.
people, they're on wheelchairs too, or a lot of them are walking with a cane at this point, right? And
Yep.
ramps are usually a very nice way, very mellow way for elderly people to go up and down places. And I just feel that with an aging population like we have here in East Asia, that's very welcome. And I think in fact a lot of local government units have responded. We're lucky in this part of the world. We do have more disabled accessibility options. Like Reynold, for example,
Yeah.
whenever he comes back to Taiwan, he can generally get around Taipei because he just has to bring his white cane. And then there are guides along the road. Some pedestrian crossings would play little music or chirping to let you know if the light has turned green. Also,
Mhm.
for when I was using my walker and my wheelchair, I noticed that accessibility options have increased over the number of, over the years. Like when I was little, I saw very little of it. And as I got older and I, needed to use those things, they all came out. I realized I just never looked around and more of them came out. So like changes will happen, but usually you gotta convince people who can do those projects that it's not just for one group, it's for a set of people in society, and that usually helps.
yeah,
Right. And
true.
we always preface it with that, I always bring up I spent like 6 months in Salt Lake City with my dad, and Salt Lake City is very handicap accessible. And you wouldn't expect it. But the reason why is because there are so many strollers in Salt Lake City.
Hmm.
Oh,
Um, and so it's for that. So I always say,
I see.
you have young families that may need accessibility for strollers. You have
Yeah,
the elderly community. We have a very high veteran community in Billings and in Montana. Veterans may need accessibility needs.
no,
And
for
then you
sure.
have the disabled too that need it. And so we always try to lump all four of those groups together. Just because you're exactly right. When you have more than one group, it is a little bit more accessible, for lack of better words,
Yeah,
and applicable to the greater population than, oh, hey, it's just a disabled thing.
Yeah, people in government will have to pay more notice because there are more people involved now.
yes, yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yes, yeah. or get some big influencers or some rich guy like Elon Musk or something on your cause.
I mean, that would be great. Yeah, that would be great, but who knows?
Right? Exactly.
Or Asian aunties. Just get more Asian aunties.
I
They're
mean,
pretty good
yes,
at
that's
pushing
probably a
things
little bit
along.
easier.
Right? Just redirect those tour buses through your town. That's it.
Yep. Come to Billings
Uh,
real quick.
right? Experience the
Oh man.
hospitality. All right.
So
So what were
Yes.
you?
switch gears a little bit, Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Mitch is a big sports fan.
Exactly. Let's switch. Yeah, let's switch gears. So, on your sports podcast, are you talking about like the general like professional sports? Are you talking about sort of adaptive sports? What do you get? What do you focus on?
So I don't focus on adaptive sports because they are non-existent here in Montana.
Okay.
Um, Minus Special Olympics. We do have
Okay.
Special Olympics, but beyond that, they're not a thing.
Oh,
So,
I see. That's too bad.
well, yeah, and so what I focus on mainly actually is interviewing our Montana athletes. So,
Okay.
whether that be high school, college, or we have quite a few that have actually gone on to play professionally in multiple sports.
Oh, wow.
So I interview a lot of them, and I get to interview all of the legends that have come through our state, and it's been really fun to do the last 4 coming on 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Been doing it
nice.
for that long. Wow. Some
Yeah.
So
what are
what
some of the
sports are Billings known for? Is it basketball or?
I'm sorry, what was that? You kind of cut out for a second.
Oh, sorry. In Billings, what are you guys known for? What sports are you guys known for?
So Montana as a whole has a really big football culture,
Mm.
American football,
okay?
and
Hmm.
so we're really known for that. That's probably our biggest one. And then depending on where you go in the state, basketball is really big.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then wrestling is also really big. So those are probably the big three.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Wow, wrestling.
Nice, nice. What are some any big names that you interviewed or have gone on to become big or anything that that
Yeah.
interview?
So there are quite a few. So I interviewed Ryan Leaf. He was the number 2 pick in the NFL draft in 1992 or 98, excuse me, not 92.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
and he was from Great Falls, Montana, so a town of like 65,000 people.
Mm.
Um,
Okay.
Went on to be the number 2 pick for San Diego and didn't have the greatest career, but
Mhm.
still went on to be, was a number 2 pick and
Right.
highest draft pick we've ever had from the state of Montana. So that was really cool.
Yes.
Um, I'm I interviewed the current Denver Broncos linebacker Alex Singleton.
Oh,
He
okay.
was awesome and really cool to get to interview him. I interviewed the beat writer for the Seattle Mariners. He's from Havre, Montana, which is a
Oh, okay.
small little town, maybe 10,000 people.
Oh,
Um, there's been quite a few. Those are just some
Mm.
of the highlights that I can think of right now.
Wow.
still pretty good. Still pretty. But yeah, so well, have you ever what with your organization? Have you ever thought about expanding it to try to start up some adaptive sports in your area?
So, yes and no. We are actually looking to do a wheelchair basketball tournament.
Okay.
Um, but that would not be adaptive with people that are disabled. What that would be letting people that are not disabled spend a couple of hours in a wheelchair and see how hard it is.
Yeah.
Bringing more awareness, basically.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even in a gym, it's not the easiest.
Yeah.
Um, but that could be a possibility. The one issue in Montana, um, is that there are not a lot of disabled people like myself, that are young and don't, or that are fully mentally capable as well. We have a
Mm,
lot of disabled people with mental disabilities as well, which is
mm.
amazing, and they are amazing individuals. So they have the Special Olympics that are
Uh,
here and very well established. I don't know how much of a community there is. Maybe in Billings, I think there would be if we couple the whole state together. But Montana is so large that just isn't feasible. I don't know in
see.
Billings itself if there is the community for an adaptive sports league.
I see.
Maybe like a solo sport we could do just because
Mm,
there may be 5 people that are
yeah,
able to do it. But
yeah.
if we incorporated the whole state, I think we could do it. But again, that would be, I mean, the furthest town from us is 8 hours away.
Yeah,
It,
Mitch, you hit a good point there. I think with sports, and you guys are free to correct me if I'm wrong. I think with sports, um, people go see sports for the excitement, right? They're a lot of times these athletes can do things that you can't do. So it's what I foresee is it's going to go the route of like the WNBA, which is it's great that we have a women's league or a division for basketball, but to be perfectly blunt, the ratings are not great. Like, compared to men NBA, it's just not that exciting to watch,
yeah,
right? So you hit a good point there. Like, it would be nice to have adaptive sports to include people with disabilities, but if it's a question of like nobody wants to attend these events, nobody wants to watch it, funding becomes a problem, right? And logistics become a problem. And there's all kinds of things that you have to, all kinds of hurdles that you have to jump through. So the effort might not be worth it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think for sports, if we can get these kinds of events for kids, for example, with disabilities, so just so they can be active and stay healthy, that's great. But to expect that it becomes like a spectator sport where you're going to draw in large crowds, I think that's a big ask, because honestly, yeah, people
it
spend
is.
money, yeah, their hard-earned money to be entertained, right? They want to
Yeah.
see these superheroes, these athletes perform superhuman feats, right? And there's nothing wrong with
Right.
that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I
Right.
think you hit a good point there that it might be hard. It might be hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is
Well, yeah,
hard.
and I
So
mean, we
yeah.
do have so one of the other nonprofits in Billings here, and I will say Billings is a small town, but we have so many nonprofits in our town. But one of the other ones in our town really focuses on people with the on the autism spectrum, and so what
Uh,
they what they did this last summer, and we wanted to partner with them, but it just didn't work out with our schedule. Was they held a football camp for kids with disabilities on the autism spectrum
Hmm.
at our local college, and so that was really cool. And I think that that is something maybe we could do where we do like day camps.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not necessarily a full fledged, season. It's not anything like that, but it is a day camp where like, hey, come hang out with whatever basketball team, get to play basketball for a few hours, and you know, just play the game of basketball. Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something maybe we could do, but having a full fledged adaptive sports season
Mhm.
in Montana and in Billings in particular, I just don't think it's feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Mitch, just a little bit of a sidebar. What do you think? You guys are of good German stock. So is that why you guys produce a lot of top athletes? Strong, strong genes.
Um, I mean, I'd like to think so. I would like to think so, but like so, Alex Singleton that I brought up, he's
Mhm.
actually from California. He just went to school here in
Hmm.
I see.
Montana.
Okay. Mhm.
So I think we have a lot of that too. They're from other places, but they come to Montana for school
Hmm.
Right.
and
I
then go
see.
on and do amazing things. But
I
for
see.
our Montana athletes that are born and raised here, I do think that's a little bit of it. I think Montana kids and Montana athletes are just tough because we have to be, because we
Yeah.
have to deal, not this year, but we have to deal with 4 to 5 months of snow usually every year.
Right,
Not
right, right.
not this year. Thankfully,
That's
it's
it.
still hasn't snowed and it's January.
Right.
Thankfully, but yeah. So I think there's a lot of that. We just a lot of our state is rural. I'm lucky I live in the biggest town in Montana, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of places where you have to go an hour to 2 hours to even get medical care. And
Wow.
so I think that really shapes and molds who you are as a person.
It's so
And
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
so I do think Montana kids and Montana people in general are just tougher than a lot of places. I know there's other places like Montana. And so I'm not going to say everywhere, but I do think we are a little bit tougher. And, I think that bodes well, especially for football, because you have to be tough to play football.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I
It's a
mean,
tough sport.
to contrast that, I mean, us Asians, we're not exactly known for a lot of these contact sports, right? We're good at maybe ping pong and
Well, maybe tennis,
badminton.
Hey,
maybe.
ping pong is
Yeah,
tough. I watch that in
badminton.
the Olympics every year, and I'm like, how are they doing that?
Yeah, but this is coming from Asians. I mean, admittedly, like there's just some sports where we don't excel at, and
Yeah.
like it's just so interesting how things can be so diverse throughout the world. Like in our part of the world, it's not rugged at all. I mean, it's everything's so compact. We all live in cities and apartment buildings, and
Mhm.
you know, um, we have this attitude that we want everything to be convenient. It's a very
Right.
Yeah,
Taiwanese thing. Like we want everything to be convenient. If you inconvenience us, like that's inconvenient.
Right.
So like even with sports, right? Like it creates certain people that are suitable for certain types of sports, but not for others. So like we love basketball, but I don't think we're that great at it. Baseball is a big thing here, and I think we do pretty well. But then full contact sports, like
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like American football, for example, you just don't expect to see a lot of Asians playing that. First of all, we don't get that big. And
Yeah.
secondly, like we don't have that kind of space to play American football. It's not every school has a huge field, right? Because the
Yeah.
space is so limited.
that's
So
true.
like
Yep.
Right.
geography really shapes the kind of people that live in that land, right? So that's why I was so curious, like, oh yeah, so you get snow 4 to 5 months of the year. You must produce some really rugged individuals, compared to us
Oh
Asians.
yeah.
We're
I
like,
mean,
you know,
Yeah.
there
yeah,
are
yeah.
many years, and I'm thanking God this year is not one of them.
Mhm.
It snows in October, November, and we have snow on the ground till March.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I mean,
It's almost like half a year.
Yeah,
so for Reynold and I,
yeah.
we're just
Now
like,
when it gets to be
let's
warm, it
go
gets
and
to be
drink
like
some
100.
boba.
But yeah,
Let's go drink
Global
some
warming,
boba
right? It's
tea and
always.
hang out, and it's like we don't have to go
yeah,
out there and shovel snow or like
Yeah,
brave
exactly.
the winter and just yeah, it's a completely different kind of challenge, to live where you live. It's very interesting for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
love it because so even like Seattle, which is only like 9 hours away, so it's not too terribly far in the scheme of
You
things.
say only, but for
They
me, nine
get,
hours is like, wow. I mean, like, oh, that's so unthinkable. I can't
I
do a
know, but
9 hour trip. Only 9 hours? What are you talking
Montana is
about?
huge. And
Right.
so,
Yes.
Reynolds, did you
but
hear
like,
that? Only
you think
nine
about that.
hours.
Yeah.
That's
You
so
think
Oh,
about
funny.
that.
good. Yeah.
And 9 hours away from here, they get
Mhm.
like 6 inches of snow and
Mhm.
the entire town shuts down.
Yeah,
We
sure.
get like a foot and a half, and we're still going to school expected to drive.
Oh, really? Wow. Right. Oh man.
Like,
Uh,
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
See how
probably
things
here
are
like
in
so
our
different for you and
snow
California
me?
too.
days
9 hours
are,
is close for you, and for me, 9 hours is. I might as well just like go to another country for 9 hours. You know what I mean?
Uh, right.
I mean, that
That's
would be nice for us. No, literally, like I said, Kalispell is the furthest town from us. Well,
Mhm.
furthest big town, let me put it that way. And that's 8 hours away.
Mm,
So you're just
yeah,
like
yeah.
used to all this this long distance. Like it's like 8 hours. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's normal. So that's like, it
Yeah. The
doesn't
Scale's
even
next
different,
biggest town close to me
Reynolds.
is two
Scale's
hours.
different for them and us.
yeah. Well, especially in
Now, I
town
will
where
say,
Vic is, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I will say, Montana's a little bit unique in that Montana, Wyoming, North and South Dakota are a little bit unique in that. it's I think different in other places in the US, but yeah, those our four states right around here are pretty unique in that there's not a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, at least you hear like Montana has stuff. I mean, did the I recall the show Yellowstone? Was that I didn't really watch it, but didn't that
Yeah,
drive some interest in Montana, going there and stuff like that?
it it did. The thing that people get disappointed about is typical Hollywood. That show is nothing like Montana.
Right,
Um, we're not all cowboys that
right.
curse and fight all the time.
Oh,
Crazy, I know, but Um,
that's
so yes, that did stir up a lot of interest in our state. A lot of
mhm,
people have come in, especially to the Bozeman and Big Sky area because that's where like a lot of rich people go.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, then they get here and they're like, "Oh, it's actually cold. Oh, it's not what we thought it was." Yeah.
Right. Right. Blame Hollywood.
So yeah,
It's a
I
different.
watched like two episodes of that show and I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's terrible. So
Right. It's like for all the people that don't live there, right? It's like, oh yeah, this is great.
yeah, it's like, cool. This is what you think Montana is. Fine. Think it's that.
Right.
Fine. Like they think we're
Uh,
all in Western wear when the majority of us are in a t-shirt and shorts or sweatshirt and pants. Like,
right.
yeah.
Like normal
Uh,
people.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They think
exactly.
we're all in Western wear 24/7. They probably
Right.
think we don't have electricity. That's one I hear a lot.
Oh man.
The one
Uh,
thing I will say that is somewhat true. So I used to always hear, did you ride your horses to school?
right.
No, people do not do that. But it is a law, I believe, at least it was for the longest time, that
Hmm.
if you did ride your horse to school, it was the school's responsibility to take care of it.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Nice. Just, just ride a horse to school just for the heck of it. Like you got to take care of
Yeah.
this.
A law that
Yeah.
I would never ever see in this part of the world. Like, what are we even talking about here?
Oh man, I feel like I would just do it just to test it out.
There have been
Uh,
people that have, and it's worked.
oh,
Well,
oh
I
man,
suppose the
that's good.
challenge over here in this part of the world is dealing with the heat. So it's the other extreme for us. It's dealing with the cold at your side. And over here, the summers are terrible. I mean, it's just like walking around with a wet woolen blanket all the time, you know. It's just so wet
Oh, we
and
get to be
hot and
100 and
humid.
yeah,
You
we
get
don't get
to
the humidity, but we get to be 100 degrees here too.
oh wow, you got both spectrums. You got like
Mm.
real seasons,
Yep.
not like us California, right? Sort of
No.
similar year round. Do you
Yeah,
guys
I
have
think
I love that though.
I can just imagine like a typical Asian going to Montana and just like feeling like a fish out of water. I know I would. I'd be like, wow, this is so different for me. And I'm sure for you guys as well. If you come over here to this part of the world, it's like, what are we looking at here? This is so different.
yes.
Right? I will
Yeah.
say, so one year my family took a trip down to Arizona for Christmas
Hmm.
and we looked at the weather. It was supposed to be like 50. And so I went dressed in a t-shirt and shorts because 50 degrees in Montana is pretty dang nice.
Right.
Well, I get down there and 50 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona
Uh,
is bone chilling cold.
Mm.
uh,
I have lived in Montana my entire life, been in
mhm.
negative-degree weather because that's what we get sometimes during the winter.
Right.
Never been as cold as I was in Phoenix, Arizona that Christmas. It was
Mm.
Wow.
so cold.
Wow. That's
I
that's a bit.
was I was very, very just flabbergasted at it, to be honest, because I was like, how it's 50 degrees.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, how the same 50 degrees is different in two states.
Even here, for example, like okay, so the temperature tonight, it's like where I'm at. Like, well, I don't think in terms of Fahrenheit. I think in terms of Celsius. So like, it's 8.5 Celsius for me, but
So that's
because
like
of the
40 ish.
yeah, but because of the humidity, like for example, I have friends from I have some Dutch friends, for example, who've lived here for 5 to 10 years, and they tell me that they've never been this cold in their whole life. You know what I mean? It's like because we don't really get central heating here, it's not cold enough to justify that. So we don't have floor heating, we don't have central heating. The most we get is probably just hot air coming out from our air conditioning during really cold winters.
Yeah.
And most of the Asian houses are built with a lot of just tiles and cement, like just to ward off the the molds from growing, and because it gets so humid here. But then what happens during the winter here is that if you think of it in terms of just like, oh, how many degrees is it? It doesn't sound that cold. But because it's so humid and the house never warms up, right? And you feel like you're just constantly cold all the time. No matter what you do, you're just like wet and cold and miserable. And you never get a chance to really warm up. So it's so interesting for me
Yeah.
how even foreigners from really cold countries, they come here and they go like, I've never been this cold in my life.
Yeah. It's weird. It's really weird. Dry cold is definitely, I mean, it's cold, but
Right.
It's much
it's
better. It
not
feels
anything like
comfortable. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's much better. You know.
Yeah. That definitely. Yeah. The weather. Ah, man.
Well,
Okay.
you're lucky, Reynolds. You live in California where it's nice year round.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
nothing to
Yeah.
complain about.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah. We
so
still do.
nice.
Yes. Yeah. We still do. We complain about everything. It's not. It's not warm enough or something. Even like yeah, like you said, like a 50 degrees probably is like nothing to Mitch. It's like
Ugh,
Yeah.
these
for us,
LA
it's like
types.
it's
Ugh.
like oh, so cold, so cold. Oh my goodness. We're like oh, especially I remember like oh, it's like 60 degrees. Oh man, it's so cold. Right? It's
But
only
going
60
going back to
degrees.
that though, I have like a really weird question for you, Mitch. Like, so when it's snowing out, and you're in your wheelchair, I mean, does that present a special challenge? You need somebody to help push you around because I've biked in the snow before, and that was a real challenge. It was really hard. So I can imagine, like, if you're in a wheelchair and you're in the snow, it must present a real challenge, right?
Yeah. Snow is hell. Yeah. Short answer. Yeah. It presents a huge challenge. But yes, it does. A lot of times thankfully, like with my podcast and my nonprofit, I don't have to leave the house unless I want to. And
Mhm.
so if I can look at the weather and see that it's going to be snowing, I just don't leave the house.
Oh,
Mm,
okay.
I just make
Good
that a
idea.
day where I don't leave. And I thankfully can do that. And so years like this one where we have not had much snow are great for me because we had like a week where we had a little bit of snow. But it wasn't anything to write home about. So I was still able to go out. But the main thing with that gets so hard is the parking lots get iced over.
mm.
And so that makes it hard to push. And then also it's hit or miss as to whether businesses shovel.
Oh, I see.
Right, right,
Another
right.
issue, right?
Yeah. And so that's another issue. If the sidewalks are not shoveled,
Mhm.
obviously a wheelchair can't go through 2 to 3 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
very easily. I mean, obviously I can push myself through it or have somebody push me through it. But I did just get a power assist for my chair. So I did test that out when we had our little bit of snow
Mhm.
and it worked okay. It didn't
Hmm.
Oh,
really work fully, but it gave me a little bit of an extra boost where I was able to get myself actually, which was kind of nice. So
Great.
oh, okay. That's pretty
And
good.
people don't talk enough about how when the snow starts to melt, everything gets so messy. It's like it's just greasy and dirty out there in the streets, especially like I can just imagine, if you're on a wheelchair and you're pushing yourself and like it's wet everywhere and it's just God, it's such a mess.
there's a reason, I a lot of times am in a t-shirt 90% of the time. And it's
Mhm.
because I hate having long sleeves and getting that wet from my chair, it's just so annoying. So I just wear short sleeves, and even when I wear like a sweatshirt or something and I know it's that kind of weather, I will
Ah,
roll the sleeve up a little bit,
Uh,
just so that I don't get the sleeve wet
yeah.
and
See,
have to
Mitch
deal with
knows
that
all
all
about
day.
this. It doesn't get talked about enough how when snow starts to melt, God, it's awful.
And it's so ugly too. Like snow
oh
when
yeah.
it's actually on the ground is pretty,
Hmm.
but the
Exactly.
second it starts to melt, it turns gray
Oh,
and it is just
yeah.
ugly.
It's
Yeah.
gnarly out there,
Right.
right? Yeah. Just don't
Exactly.
leave the house.
Yeah.
Just stay at home. Jesus.
Yeah. Right. Get delivery.
Yeah.
Order. I don't know, Uber Eats or use Amazon or something.
Exactly. Uber Eats and DoorDash for life.
There we go. Right. It's made for a reason.
Right. Is there
Yeah.
anything you want to know about us, Mitch? Anything you want to ask us? Like, anything that comes to mind, just feel free.
Oh man, I love watching different videos on YouTube about different countries. And so
Mhm.
I'm just kind of curious about Taiwan. Like, what is it like to live there? And, like, just what is it like? Because I'm probably never going to get over there. So, what is it like?
Well, Reynold can tell you first. Go ahead, Reynold.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't lived there as long as Vic, but I did stay there for a little time, for maybe like if you add it up, like maybe 2 years. But yeah, I think it was nice. It was uh, when it comes to accessibility, at least when I was there, it was not as I don't feel it's as accessible. Like the whole Taiwan in general, even though they can be nice to the disabled people, structures aren't built. There's a lot of steps. There's like even a sidewalk. If you go if you walk down a block, like every store could have their own little sidewalk sort of thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they have their own little thing going on or something. Like this one's tiled or this one like I don't know. It was like it's really trippy. Like you go down a block and like you pass through like 10 stores and every store's the sidewalk in front of those stores like could be like 10 different textures, 10 different things. So I'm like walking down and it could
Different
go up and down
elevations too,
at any
right?
time.
Like you got a lip here, you got a bigger lip
Yeah,
there
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like a
It could
foot
go up
high,
and
then
down
it
at
goes
any
flat
time.
again.
No,
Yeah.
geez.
Yeah, it could go, yeah, literally. Like you could be up, you could be elevated like a step and then down a step or two or something. And then you got tiles and then you got like bricks or something. And then it's like I'm all tripped out. Um, I just don't know how a wheelchair would have it. But when me myself walking and I used my white cane, I was like I'm a little tripped out. Like what texture am I gonna get to at this next step, right? It's always, but I did like, yeah, I did like the public transportation. At least not the buses. Buses can be a little crazy, but like they have subways. They call it the MRT, and those are really made nicely. I think that they're really well thought out. They always have escalators and elevators, and then they have people that are in the stations that assist the disabled. So that's always nice. It's pretty much kept clean and stuff like that. So it's easy to get on to the train and off. So I enjoy using that as public transportation. It's not something and it's something that you could take and you could get almost anywhere around town. So not like even in California, even though we have so many people, public transportation is really crappy here. So, but yeah, but when Taiwan there, it's very condensed. So a lot of buildings there, they go up. It's not like America or probably Montana where you could go off on the side, right? Like you could go wide, right?
Right.
They have to build up. So a lot of restaurants, you got 2 levels, 3 levels. I mean, and sometimes they don't have elevators because of the compact space. Like they don't have even room to make an elevator. So there are
Oh,
like spiral steps. Like it's not even like a regular straight step. It's like spiral steps. So that's even worse. So but at least hopefully you got like bottom floor seating. But then if you go into like the
yeah.
alleys where there's like little mom and pop like restaurants, sort of like or like street carts or something. Uh, those are even worse when it comes to seating because it's just like just anywhere you could sit down or squat down or something like. So on that part, it might be a little bit challenging for a wheelchair. It was sort of challenging for me too, as you know, just walking along. Um, but I just like the for me my for my disability has always been of convenience. So um, Taiwan makes everything convenient, like Vic was saying. Like you could have,
Yeah.
has always tripped me out where you could have like a 7-Eleven. They're big on 7-Eleven convenience stores, like 7-Eleven. The other big one is like Family Mart. It always trips me out that you could have one on each side of the road. So you have like a street, right? So on this side you have 7, and then on the opposite side it's literally just you just cross the street. There's another 7, but both get extremely like large amount of business. Like they both stand alone. Like it's
Crazy.
so amazing. It's like people can't even just cross the street to go to use a 7. They need one at their end of the street, like at their side of their side of the sidewalk. So it's like so it made everything very convenient. Like anything you need can be within a block away. Especially if we're living like I was living in Taipei, like a big metro area, so everything's really close. Maybe get into like the rural, more south, is more laid out, more spread out. But if you're
Yeah.
living like in more metro area, everything's so condensed and compressed. Like you could, it was so convenient. So like even if you want to like order things, like they were big on deliveries too. So yeah, you could order anything and get it delivered to wherever you're at. So for me, it is a good experience coming from California, where everything's so spread out. Like getting anywhere is like even if you're driving, it's like it's like anything like for us, it's like anything is like a few miles away, right? I guess for you it's like
Yeah.
a few maybe 10 miles away,
Yeah.
right? 9 hours away,
Yeah.
right? I guess
Times a factor of
but
10.
right. But yeah, for us, our increment starts at like 30 to an hour away, but in Taiwan it's more like minutes away. Like if it's more, I feel in Taiwan, if anything is like more than 10 miles, I mean 10 minutes away, it's like, oh man, that's too far. So that's why Vic was saying 9 hours away. Man,
Yeah,
it's
we have
like
about a 2 hour
forget
window.
it.
That's about ours.
It's like
My
forget
house away, I'll just
it.
hop on a plane, go to Thailand,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I'll go to
Yeah.
Japan or something. That's so
Yeah, actually,
far.
yeah. If Vic hops on a plane, he could go round trip to Japan
Oh
and
yeah,
back.
for sure.
nine
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. Right.
Uh, oh man. But yeah, so that's my experience. But Vic he's been there longer and he's raising a family there, so he could probably
No, I
give
mean,
you
Mitch,
more
you've
insight.
probably
Yeah.
seen images of Asia like Japan or Korea, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, East Asia is pretty much similar. Like you can lump them together. South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, even China. I mean,
Mhm.
we're all pretty much similar, in that urban areas are really just compact and dense. Everything's built going up because there's not a lot of space. But in more rural areas, yes, it's more of a sprawl. Um, we love
Yeah.
convenience. What else can I say? Oh, what Reynolds mentioned earlier about like how like you get different elevation along the sidewalk because just wasn't a lot of good city planning back in the day. Nowadays, I think things are changing. That if you go to major areas where the metros are, where the big malls are, or just major central business districts or major residential areas, you would have new city planning where the sidewalks are actually paved all the way. Like it's
Yeah.
just one straight
Yeah.
flat sidewalk. And so that's slowly changing the landscape of Taiwan. And what he mentioned was like just stuff built back in the 70s, 80s, And the funny thing is, people generally regard those as really ugly and want to phase them out. But then, like anything else in life, given enough time, they become a novelty. So there are more and more young people from across the world coming to Asia, for example, in Hong Kong, just to take photographs of these really like it's almost like a dystopian kind of like setting. Like everything is just so, I don't know, you got iron bars across windows, and then you get clothes hanging out on the side of the windows, and at the same time there's like a family on top of that, and then you got stairs climbing to God knows where. It's just very dystopian, very weird kind of architecture. And people actually come here now to take photographs of those things because they're slowly disappearing. It's becoming more and more
Yeah,
modernized, which is great. But at the same time, these things define East Asia, right? And they're disappearing. Yeah. So that's the Taiwanese landscape in a nutshell. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
You should come. You should come. Just see it
yeah,
for yourself.
exactly, exactly.
I
We
think you'll
get a
like the food.
Most
The food's pretty
definitely.
good.
yeah,
The food's
we
pretty
get
good.
a we
Yeah.
get a big group or something. You get a tour group, like make it the angry Asian uncle
We'll
tour
we'll
group
get
or
an
something.
World
American tour
tour.
group to
Yeah.
come to Taiwan.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Right. We got it.
it'll be so different. You should try some of the very famous food here, like the stinky tofu. Yeah, it smells like rotten socks. It's exactly what it tastes like. It's
Oh man.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
might have to
man.
pass on that one.
Yeah. Right.
You'd be
Exactly.
surprised, man. It's an acquired taste, It gets good after a while.
Yeah. Probably
Oof.
just give it. Yeah. Just go with the maybe just go with the dumplings. There we go.
Well, the dumplings are
There
great.
we go. That sounds more like it.
Right
And
there we
Mitch, by
go.
the way, Reynolds is downplaying his time here. This guy was a hustler when he was here. He met all kinds of chicks here. I gotta tell you, like Asian women are pretty nice. I have to say, they're very beautiful, very gentle. They're great. So Reynolds knows all about this. He's just not telling you any of this stuff from his past.
He's just
Oh,
being humble. That's all.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
man.
keep it a secret, right? Trying to keep it to myself. Not just kidding. Trying to keep the ladies to myself. Not just kidding.
Anyway, that's that. So yeah,
That is
any usually at this segment, right, Reynolds, we ask for our special guests, if you have any words of wisdom that you would
yes,
like to
yes, we
impart
do.
to our listeners. Yeah,
Yes,
Mitch,
Mitch.
go ahead. If you have anything you want to share.
Yeah, I guess my words of wisdom is well, I have a quote that I always live by. It was in a book by Kyle Maynard called No Excuses. So I use the quote "No excuses" as kind of my life mantra. So if you have something that you want to see changed in the world,
Hmm,
no excuses, go do it.
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I can't put it better myself. Yeah. No,
Words to live by.
exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna remember that too. Oh, yeah. Remind myself. No excuses, right?
And perfect too
Yeah,
God.
for
no,
the
I
for ringing in 2026, Mitch. Great.
Yeah. Yes.
New Year's
yeah.
resolution and all.
If you
Yeah.
haven't checked out that book, it's a really cool book. He was born without arms and legs,
Oh, okay.
and so he was born with that, but he still played football growing up. He wrestled growing up, and then now that he is an adult, he's climbed like Mount Kilimanjaro
Oh,
and
wow.
just done a lot
Wow.
of really cool things. So yeah, if you haven't read that book, check it out. It's No Excuses by Kyle Maynard. I believe it's on Amazon.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah, definitely
Okay.
check that out. Yeah. It's a good, that would probably be a
yeah,
good read. Yeah. Well, thank you
yeah,
so much for today. Yeah, we definitely enjoyed our time with you.
Yeah, Mitch.
Hopefully,
Thanks.
yeah,
Appreciate
hopefully we
it.
can have you back and then hear some more success stories from your nonprofit. So definitely we'll love to hear that. So yeah, thank you
yes, I'd love
again.
to come back on.
Well,
Thank
welcome.
you.
We'd love to have
Yes.
you back on.
Yes. Well, yes.
Yeah,
Definitely
thank you
love to
guys
share
so
more
much. It was
stories.
great to talk to you guys.
Oh,
Same,
thank you
same.
so much. And thank you everyone for
All right,
joining us today. Thank you everyone for again joining us. Please like and subscribe. And also sharing is caring. Again, thank you again, Mitch, for today and hope to catch everyone back next time. Bye.
Happy New Year.